Hi, I'm Samuel, and this is Duty. Have you signed up for the launch of There's an Alien in My Toilet on Kickstarter? I hope that you do. It's gonna be a hilarious ride. The link is in the summary. See you there.
What's up, Georgie? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
In the House of Craze tonight, we have a special guest, Mr. Lance Lucero, and he's the creator and writer of Bob, Non-Union Psychic. Bob, Non-Union Psychic. And we're also going to have a topic for today. Is it double dipping? We'll explain as the show continues.
Yo, I got a story about that. Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze.
Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I'm your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with
George the Gima Medina. What's happening, Sam? What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode. Damn. Of Catch the Craze. We have a very special guest tonight. We have Mr. Lance Lucero and his book, Bob, the Non-Union Psychic. And he will be on the show today talking to us. We do shows where we feature creative artists, independent artists of all industries. So if you like to listen to that kind of stuff, please subscribe to our channel. Grow with us. Subscribe today. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, but most importantly, if you are watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button right now and join the crew. So what's up, Sam? What's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's up? You know, he's trying to promote Duty. Duty's doing his thing. And, I want to say thank you to the 61 people who signed up to be notified on the launch. So that's good. I'm excited about that. If you don't know, there's an alien in my toilet.
You didn't even hit him with the indie news, nothing. You just went right in for the kill. What is going on?
Kill, damn it.
Jesus, we're still welcoming everybody in the seats. You already started the movie. What's happening over here?
All right, here we go. Vegas lucky.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
So there's some surprises coming down the pike with Dudarius, Uranus. It's gonna be fun. In fact, Duty's being remastered. Remastered. That's crazy.
Dude, there are so many little surprises that people are going to be getting. And if you guys were, fans of it back in the days, back in 2000, what was it, 6, 7?
2006 and 7,
yeah, right around that time. If you guys were a fan of the remastered version that you guys are about to get, and all of the other things that are about to pop off, Sam, go ahead. I'll let you finish telling them.
Yeah, I got a lot of surprises. There's gonna be the debut of the animated trailer no one's ever seen.
Oh, damn! So now, listen, that's 4 days away. I think we're airing this on the 11th, so 4 days away from this recording.
Yeah, so the night of the launch is the debut of the. It's going to be, a screening. No one's ever seen it before. It's going to be fire. Then I got some other stuff, some tricks in the bags. But so Duty is being remastered. And we decided to give him, a fresh fade, right? Because back then he had the curls, so we got to give him some fades and get him ready for 2022 because that's what Duty do. So it's gonna be fun. That's what's gonna be fun. I'm excited. It's just been cranking it out, posting, networking, and thank you to all you indie creators. Starting tomorrow, I'll be listing all the indie comic creators that we're cross promoting each other to expand our reach. And also shout out to Ray's Comics in California for supporting There's an Alien in My Toilet. Trying to get some love out here in Texas has been kind of difficult. I keep hitting a wall.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. But real quick, so when you say tomorrow, for the continuity issues happen sometimes when you're recording in the past, you're gonna air it in the future, but you're recording in the present. So when you say tomorrow, do you mean the 12th, or
no,
do you mean?
I've already started plugging those people, all the indie creators out there. So, but yeah. So, I hit the pavement out here. I struck out 3 times with the comic retailers out here in Texas, in Dallas, Texas, and so then Marvin Wynn. Shout out to Marvin Wynn. Yes, and Mark Torres. They sent me the list of independent friendly retailers, and when I looked at the list, no wonder I got struck out, because the retailers that I went to were not independent friendly. And you could tell when you walk in, because it was 99% mainstream toys, mainstream comics. And I had to ask for independence. And they were like a 2-foot space shelf, and they only had a couple of books. It was from Image and Boom Studios, and that was it. And so it was interesting.
That's that kind of thing where like so I think most people have seen that movie Pretty Woman.
Walking down the street.
She walks into the thing and they won't help her out. And then she comes back with her Prada bags and all her bags. And she goes, "You work on commission, right? And you wouldn't help me the other day. Remember that?
Big mistake.
Yes. Huge. That's the kind of thing that whenever you're in any industry, you got to remember this, man. You never know who's walking into your shop. Because you know what? For all that shop knows, and we're not even going to say their name because we don't want to give them any shout outs or any publicity. But if they don't know if you were, a producer in Hollywood who was looking for a location to do a shoot, and you went into that, into that shop, and now you're giving them an opportunity to make some money because their shop's going to be on a show. They don't know who you were. They just wanted to be jerks. You know what I mean? And
one in particular, you could tell by the face. I was like, "Oh, this one's going to be interesting." And I'm a paying customer, right? So I'm a patron. I go in, and then I was like, "Hey, by the way, how likely is it I can leave, back stuffers here to promote my Kickstarter campaign for my comic?" Straight up, like, why would I want to direct traffic away from my store and hurt my business to help you?
Oh,
I was like,
whoa.
Wow. I said, you're saying it to somebody, you're saying it to a customer.
Damn.
And after I said, well, let's see. If a customer comes in and says, "Oh, you're going to be carrying this book, it looks fun," that's an opportunity for you to pick it up. You know what I mean? You could carry it. There's a retail bundle. It's been featured in the news. It's been blah, blah, blah. I'm giving the whole spiel. I got a podcast. I can feature your location. Nothing. And he's like, "Well, send me the PDF and I'll let you know." I said, "That was your way of saying get out my face. I'm not sending you jack." So I was like, for me, it was like, that was your way of saying, he's trying to get rid of me. And so I was like, wow. And that was the first time, because in New York, I never experienced any of that.
Yeah.
With Midtown Comics, was it Jim Henley's Universe? None of them. Every one of them showed love, and these are big guys.
Forbidden Planet,
and these are the big boys. And this is not a big player, and these are big boys with they don't need to support indies, but they welcomed us with open arms.
Yep.
Yep. And they were like, and they're like, "We're not going to put on consignment, Toma." He goes, "How much do you want?" Bomb. They give you the cash up front. It goes on the shelf, and all the books sold.
Yeah.
I remember Cosmic Wars sold the first set, and they wanted a re-up, and I was like, "Whoa, awesome!"
Mm-hmm.
And here, this was the first time I was like, "Whoa, oh man, times have changed."
Yeah, man, it's a different animal. But you know what? Granted, we may not have the thousands and thousands, maybe millions of subscribers on the channel, but we still have a nice little following, and we could have been shouting them out. We could have been, sending them business, because we show love. We show love. If you show us love, we show love, a lot of it. And they definitely could have been getting business their way. I mean, like you said, just before we even started, big shout out to Ray's Comics, right? And all the way in California.
all the way in Cali.
who reached out and said, "Hey, we'll send some stuff over here. I'm waiting for your cards to come in because I'm going to go out to my local comic book shop. Big shout out to the Spider's Web here in Yonkers. So I'm going to be going over there, dropping some off. Because
in fact, the owners of Raised
hurt.
Comics are going to be guests on our show.
Who's that?
The owners of Raised Comics, they're going to be a guest on our show.
There you go.
And so that's not, and they reached out to me on Twitter,
terrible,
and on Instagram.
Yeah,
and
that's terrible, bro.
I was like, wow. I said times have changed. So much for supporting the little guy, but it is what it is. But I sent her 250 cards. They put it out there, and then hopefully it drives traffic, and
bro. And you know what's crazy about that? Like, think about where we were in 2020, where a lot of these comic book shops were on the verge of closing, and here you are, a paying customer, because you didn't just go in and say, "Can I drop this here?" and then walked out without purchasing anything. You purchased some stuff from them, keeping them in business, and they wouldn't reciprocate. They wouldn't just.
What's it costing them a damn thing? Just put it on the counter.
Just put it on the counter.
That's it.
Stuff it in the bag as people walk out, and that's it. Now, if there are any retailers out there, small comic book shops, who think that what this shop did was right, put it in the comments. Tell us why you think that was correct. If you disagree with what they did, put it in the comments as well. Start a conversation about that. Could that possibly hurt your business to put an independent comic book in your shelves?
They can drive you more business because if you have enough patrons to say, "I like this. Is this going to be in this location?"
I think, and you know what? I think people have grown tired of the mainstream stuff. A lot of people,
I didn't need 3 stores.
No, but what I'm saying is, there's a lot of people who are looking for stuff that's not out there. That's that's new, that's different. I don't know how it is in Texas. Maybe that's not how it is over there. But
those 3 locations. The first thing I did when I got the list, I looked and it's like they're not on that list. That's no wonder, because even when I got into the car and I was telling my wife, I was like, I don't think these are independent friendly locations. And I said, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to do my homework, because I was going to go to 6 that day. I stopped at 3. And because in Texas it's everything's about 20-25 minutes apart. Yeah. So drive. And so I was like, I'm stopping at 3. I already got rejected 3 times. I said, you know what? I got my ego's a little bruised. Let me go back home, recalibrate, figure out if there's any indie friendly. And thanks to, again, Marvin Wynn and Mark Torres for hooking it up and making it a little easier for me to try to go out there and connect with these retailers.
Yeah, big shout out. Yeah, man, it's a little disheartening that there are people like that are running businesses like
acting up
who refuse to do what's right.
Yeah, I'm like, really?
Yeah, just be a good person, man.
That's it.
And listen, he could have just said, "Hey, man, listen, I'm not a big supporter of indies or whatever," but to go in and say, "How is this going to make me money?" Like, what?
This is why would I want to send business away from my store to you?
That's cool.
I was like, oh.
So he looked at it as if you were a
competitor.
Competitor?
I said, I have a retail bundle. I said, I also have a podcast. I would highlight the fact that you have these here. I'd feature it. It's not like I didn't get any reviews. And he saw the reviews because it's on the card. And that's like Newsarama, Licensed Magazine has been featured everywhere. It's been on the news. Blah, blah. And the card has done really well. Yeah. Because he kept staring at the card. And he was reading it. But I think what he was doing was trying to figure out, how do I get rid of this guy in his mind? I was like, and I stood there. I was like, all right, and so the old Sam would have been just as rude. But I was like, all right, thanks, and I left. And I just left it alone. And he could have done it another way. You know what I mean? And like the other ones, like, unfortunately, we only advertise who we sell. Right. And I was like, all right. And obviously, and that whole store was all mainstream. They only had Spawn, and they had King Spawn on the indie section, and they had
Spawn,
and they had that Keanu Reeves Berserker.
That's funny, man.
That was it.
That is funny. And just to correct myself, because I did say Marvin Wynn. The name of his book is The Edge. So if you guys are check that out. Check out Marvin.
Living on the edge.
And The Edge is the book that he created. Yeah, so check that out. And of course, Mark Torres is of it came from the radio fame. So if you guys aren't listening to that, check that out. It came from the radio. So yeah. No, man, that's crazy.
Oh. There's a whole lot of songs on radio. I know I can't live without my radio. I mean,
Go ahead, keep going. Get it out of your system. Get it out of your system. Just do it. Just do it.
Come on, just do it.
It doesn't matter.
What it is. Yeah. So that was a trip. And I finished, Forbidden. I shipped it out. That's good. Everything's in transit. That's good. It's just happy days are coming. But you also got the Wonderduck coming along.
Yes, that is next. Yeah, so right now I have a pre-launch page for the Adventures of Wonderduck. So go to that right there on Instagram, follow it. And right now we have a few people signed up. I've already sent out some stuff. What I'm doing is that for everybody who signs up from now until the launch, which is not until May, for those who sign up, what I'm doing is basically I'm sending you guys a PDF of a print that is only going to be available to those who sign up for the pre-launch. It's not going to be part of the campaign. It's just going to you guys as a thank you for signing up so early and so far in advance. You guys send me your email address. I'll send you the PDF. And then when the campaign goes live, if you pledge to the campaign, I will send you a printed 8x10 copy of that same print. So that's as a thank you for all of you guys for supporting us, for supporting the channel, supporting There's an Alien in My Toilet, The Adventures of Wonderduck, The Crazies, Forbidden, and everything we've done. You guys have been amazing. So we want to thank you guys. And, we're putting together a lot of fun stuff this year, man. We got, There's an Alien in My Toilet. We got, The Adventures of Wonderduck. The Crazies are coming back this year, as far as we know right now. Things can change, but things are coming down the pike. And even, Forbidden, you can get Forbidden right now on the website.
Yes, the graphic novel is
available.
And the homage cover. There's only about 56 left of the homage cover. So you can get your hands, it's limited to 100 copies, and it comes with a certificate of authenticity, signed and numbered. So, you can get the homage cover, and you can get the graphic novels available on the website. And as soon as the order comes in, it gets shipped out within 24 hours. So
there you go.
You just have to stipulate whether or not you want it signed or not.
Yeah. So sign up to the pages. There's an Alien in My Toilet, The Adventures of Wonderduck. Go to The Adventures of WD on Instagram. Follow
WD40.
That's right. And then also, one last thing I wanted to mention, as far as I like that you have all this stuff up here. You figured that out, huh, Sammy? Putting all that little stuff up there. I like it. So Forbidden, if you have received your Forbidden package, because it went out last month, it is now February. So if you've received your package and you have your book, take a picture of it, post it online, tag Catch the Craze, show us some love. We'll repost it. You know what I mean? And let's build the community. Let's build it up. Let's keep going. So
let's build the bear, baby.
So if you guys have your books, let us know you got them. Post them up and keep it moving. But so that's what's going on in indie news, man. And then we have a big, a pretty deep topic that you kind of started last month on the craze in 10 or less. But we can get to that next.
That one's trending. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So so let's get into that conversation in indie news. Is it double dipping?
It's double dipping. Now, it's funny. Before, when I send you this image, you were talking about on the craze in 10 or less, and I can't even speak right now. But on the craze in 10 or less, should an artist get paid twice? Or get paid again?
Right.
And this was, like you said, this is episode 74 for you guys who don't know. Go check it out, episode 74. But so tell us a little bit about that, what you were talking in that episode, Sam. And you did do it in 10 minutes or less.
I did it in 7 minutes.
Wow, look at you.
that.
Look at you. I knew
I
you
mean,
get that.
wow, I'm a big kid now.
Oh, shoot. That's cute. That's cute.
See, Johnny is not just for you. So I miss Johnny boy. But yeah, so Anibal Royals Kaporis is the one who brought up the idea. He started the conversation, right? Because apparently somebody, an artist, who sold their art, was trying to make money off of the resale of his original art. And I was like, you can't do that. What are you trying to do? You know, it's like yeah. And so that's what brought up the conversation. So I did it. I know that as an NFT, you can do that. NFT, you can stipulate the fact that, you know, because NFT, the sale of your NFT is based on what's the market value that day. So let's say you get $400 for a sale of your NFT, right? And the owner, the buyer, a month later, the market value for that NFT is now $2,000. They sell it. You can still get a percentage of that $2,000 because you stipulated in it. So the resale of that item, because you lost out on what the market value was. But on original hand illustrated art, which is not an NFT, when you sell it, it's lost. You know, but where you benefit, and that's what I said on the show, where you benefit is if you say you're at a Comic-Con, you sell an original page of your drawing for a comic book page, and you sell it for $200. Now, if you find out 2 months later that buyer sold it on eBay for $1,000, your value just went up by $800. So now you can jack up your price because he just did you a favor, because the market said you're worth $1,000. Because there was a buyer that's interested in that product and was willing to pay that G. So now you can, the next Comic-Con, that $200 page, you can sell it for $1,000, or you can test the waters and maybe sell it for $600, whatever you want. But that person did you a favor, as long as they always reference who the artist is. Because also that buyer interested in paying $1,000, if I'm that buyer, I want more from that creator. So it's either the seller who sold it to that buyer is going to go back to you and try to nickel and dime you and get it for $200 and sell some more, or you know that it was sold. If you found out that it sold for $1,000, you don't sell it for $200 to that same buyer. You jacked up the price because now your value is worth more. So it's like you taking an action figure that a reseller, a collector, a reseller can sell for $5,000. They're not going to give you $5,000 because they want to make a profit. They'll give you $3,500 because they want $1,500 in profit for themselves, right? Or right? So you could do the same thing. So that buyer comes back to you and says, "Yo, I want, give me $800." He'll make $200 on that sale, and you just made some money. So it all depends.
So yeah, so that's true if you are in the States. If you are outside of the States, if you're a national of any of the European Economic Area, countries like Austria, Belgium, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, France, Italy, Ireland, Iceland, Hungary, Greece, Germany. I mean, there's tons of them. The Netherlands, Norway, Portugal. Then you may actually be able to get some royalties from that sale. So, and this was actually brought to our attention by Daphne Lage.
Daphne Lage.
Shout out to Daphne Lage. Who made a point to say that there's such a thing as the resale royalty right. And that is something that is done outside of the United States right now. I was reading up on this, and I was reading on one of the auction houses. Christie's is an auction house that basically does this. Now, I don't know. This is not limited to just pieces of artwork, and I don't know if our kind of art would be there. I guess it would, right? Like it's art. So, but basically, what happens is who pays the royalty, right? Now, for Christie's purposes, for this particular auction house, the royalty is paid. It says the seller and his agent, the auction house, are jointly and severally liable. Christie's will collect from the buyer an amount equal to the resale royalty and pass this to the relevant collecting agency. This will appear as a separate line item on the buyer's invoice and is described as artist resale right. So that's how that works there. In the United States, we have copyright laws,
which is pretty interesting because you think about it. It's like you're protecting it. You're protecting the artist because, hey, at the time that you sold it, you said this is all you can get for it. but then somebody else sold it and got significantly more. I got the raw end of the deal, right? So I get it, and that applies to fine arts. But how many? If you go to how many websites are selling original comic book pages, and determining, the market's determining the value, right? So if it sits there for months and it's not, and those pages haven't moved after a year, they're going to lower the price, right? That means they have no interested buyers, right? So, but if they're putting pages up and people are buying them, they're going to start jacking up the price and people are going to buy them. And that'll determine, again, your earnings are determined by the market. And so why not benefit from the market's, fluctuation?
Yeah. See, now the thing with original art is that, especially with paintings and things of that nature, and this is what I was reading up on too, is like the value of those things increase with the value of the artist. So if the artist continues to create, do artwork and sell artwork, and then that painting that he sold to, say, Christie's, for example, will increase in value because that person has been doing work that's also been selling on that end. So as long as you're you're growing your name, then your value is going to grow on that painting that you did, or that whatever you did and you sold. If you stop creating, if you stop, then obviously in that act or in that right, your value may diminish and you may not sell for as much, and that your artwork has no value. In the States, with the copyright law, it doesn't matter about the value that you have as an artist. You sold that painting to that piece to that guy. It's like you said, Sam, if he sold it for $1,000, that's your value, right? But if he didn't sell it for that amount of money, you could still make money on the side by selling your own prints, coloring that bad boy, and printing it out and making more money that way. Which, not to say you can't do that in Europe, because but I don't know what the laws are like out there. So if you guys are watching and post it down on the comments below. But it's interesting, dude. It's interesting how artwork is looked, and it's almost like it's a telling sign of how artwork is looked at in Europe versus what it's like here in the States to a certain extent.
Exactly.
Where they have that right and we don't.
Well, there's a lot of things that are different. I think like what it's like. It's just, I think isn't like healthcare different in the
absolutely.
It's like universal healthcare. Everything's different. I think they put you first, and I think here it's how do I make a quick buck? How does somebody get over? And but that's why NFTs. Wanting to see how that works, because right now the market is being flooded with NFTs. To see how that benefits guys like us, because it's so new. It's like only in its infancy, but it's a great conversation to have. Determining whether or not you can. I wonder if that'll ever change in the U.S. I mean, right now it's fine arts, but who determines that it's fine arts over?
Well, so it's funny
animation sales go for a premium if it's by the right studio.
It's funny that you mentioned the difference between fine art and I called it commercial art, right? So all art is it's because art is it's something that's very what is art, right? And basically, I was looking that up. I was like, okay,
based on your interpretation,
what qualifies as a fine artist? And one of the qualifications of a work to be considered fine art would be based on the artist himself or herself. Has the artist been trained in the study of art? Did the artist study previous artists themselves being considered fine artists? Did they take art classes or even study at a school to nurture their abilities at creating art? Is the work superior to that which of an average person could create? There is no denying that there are those who can and those who can't create memorable works of art, which others may want to view and display in their homes and other locations. So basically, is it fine art by this, definition or this qualification is, are you qualified to create this kind of artwork because you went to school, because you received the proper training? Right. You're not just a regular person who said, hey, you know what, today I want to draw this and here it is, and now it's fine art. Like,
yeah,
it's interesting.
I'm gonna take 12 different colors of paint and I'm gonna throw it on a canvas and I'm gonna call it a Picasso.
Hey, man, as long as, and nowadays, as long as you watch the YouTube video by a fine artist that told you to do that, maybe that is considered fine art. I don't know.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
it's all
things have changed.
it's art is based on the eye of the beholder.
Yeah,
It's what people
that's
interpret
what
it.
they
I mean,
say.
I've gone to so many galleries, and you see people standing there, they're pondering, right, with their glasses of wine, and they're like, and with their sophistication, and they're trying to figure it out. And I'm like, I just see two colors on a canvas. I said, I'm not sure what you're looking for. I just don't see it. And then you keep it moving. But to somebody else, they're like, oh, that is brilliant. It's magnificent. And I'm like, oh, wow, you got that from that? Wow. Good for you. Sheesh. But again, it's all the eye of the beholder. There's something for everybody. It's in a matter of taste. And,
Yeah, I think. I mean, listen, man. How many times I used to take, even in college, you take your art classes, and there's definitely a method to the madness. There's definitely a reason why certain things are supposed to look the way they are. There is something to it. It's not just like these people are crazy drinking their wine. They actually have studied some of this stuff and what makes art great and what it doesn't. What makes it something that people are going to make you feel something. Like when you look at a picture, when you and you do it all the time. Like if you go and you see an image, one image will make you feel something won't. And it's like, where
yeah.
did they go wrong? Why doesn't this work and why does that work? But yeah, it's interesting, man. Art is interesting. And the fact that there is a right or an act in Europe that allows you to make money even after you sell your piece of art is something that honestly I didn't know until Daphne made that comment. And I was like, oh shoot.
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
either. When she made the comment, I was like, oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
resale
um,
royalty right.
but again, some of these other countries are much more um, ahead of the curve than we are. Because in the U.S. it's all about getting over the next man and making money and being first and who has the best and all that stuff. Over there, they're talking about lifestyle and they're having coffee. Work isn't the priority. Your health is the priority, and it's crazy. Over here, it's work, 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 and so it's like two different arenas.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that in Europe is there's a different mentality in Europe. I mean, listen, this act or this law has been around in France. I don't know about the other countries, but in France since 1920, and it basically is the duration of the right is the life of an artist plus 70 years.
Wow, look at
So
that.
yeah, so
So
when
your
he
kids.
dies, yeah, his heirs also receive money
That
even
is
70 years
fantastic.
after
I'm
that
gonna
person's
pay the
death.
mortgage. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Check's coming in the mail.
4% is levied on artwork valued up to 50,000 euros, and it decreases to 25% for artworks over 500,000 euros.
Wow.
So there are laws in place to protect, you know, the artist, and it's like with whoever some of our artists that have passed away, their stuff is if there was a resale value on it, it
And
would
then
be
you got to think
20
about it.
years after.
These are all one of a kinds, and which is why it's understandable, right? It's all one of a kind. The artist painted it. It's done, one and done. It's up. Now you can create prints, and you can do whatever you want with prints, but you'll never have the real thing. So whoever has the real thing benefits it, and if the market says it's this price, everybody wins. So I think that's pretty cool.
So what do you
I
think?
wonder why.
Do you think artists should get paid royalties for their work after
Think
it's
so.
done?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think for original works of art, I
Yeah.
think if it's an original, if it's a one of a kind, it's one and done. I think if the market is saying this is what is valued and you sell it, and then it appreciates, and then 4 years later it sells for a different price,
You
a
should
higher
be able
price. You should get your residuals from that. But
to.
I wonder if that'll ever come to the States. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. You know what it is too is like we have we think about comic books and we think about comic book art, and should that also do the same? I don't know, but yeah, that's the topic. I mean, obviously we can continue this all night, but it's interesting. It's interesting to think as artists and as creators, what the worth of some of our work is. So
Yeah. With that said, we're gonna run to a commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna bring our guest into the room. Lance Lucero is coming in, and so if you want to promote what you do on Catch the Craze, here's how to do it.
Are you sitting at home wondering how you're going to spread the word about that Comic-Con that you're about to appear at, and you want to get some press? How about your first book signing? How do you spread the word so you can get an audience there? Or that first panel at a Comic-Con? Who do you talk to? Or even your first crowdfunding on Kickstarter or Indiegogo? The world is turning to podcasting to get the word out. Why not you? Sponsor an episode of Catch the Craze and start promoting yourself today.
All right, let's bring him in. That's your stream. Here we go. Welcome, buddy.
There he is. Can you hear us? Oh, we can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Oh, no. I wonder what. It's the second time it happens. Any luck? No, can't hear you. Nothing. You want to try to go out and come back in? Maybe that'll work. Mm-mm. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he's gonna
So
try
that
it
was
again.
Lance Lucero, everybody. You know, if you like this episode, give us a thumbs up.
You know, it's the second time it happens, right? Where we can't get the connection right. I don't know if
Oh,
it's.
there he goes. He's back in. All right. Yeah, there he goes. Now just-
All right. Any luck? No, nothing.
Oh, there you go. Oh, no.
No.
So you
Can't
might
hear.
go on and off.
I saw the mute button, but I didn't see. Yeah, it's unmuted. Yeah, let me just type in here. We still can't hear. Yeah, that's weird, man. I don't know why we can't hear him. You don't have a mute on your end, right, Sam?
No,
On your controls?
mine is fine. Oh,
Yeah, he went out trying to come back in.
hello, goodbye.
Yeah,
hello.
that happened. That happened once before. I don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah, what it is, what it was, and what it will be.
What it isn't.
Yeah, just got another request to be on the show as we're talking.
Yeah. Well, there it is. If you guys want to be on the show, though, definitely send us a request, and we'll send you. Hold on, and we'll send you a link to our calendar where you can book yourself on the show. 7 or 8 o'clock Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
Don't go on. Don't go to crazycomics.com anymore.
No.
No more filling out the forms. Just go to the link. The link is also in the summary. Make it easy. Just hit us up. Private chat. Let's see what's going on. Private chat. Oh, that was you.
Yeah, no, that was me. Yeah, that's it's weird that we can't hear Mr. Lance. Not sure what's going on with
what's
the audio.
going on? Is it? Let's get it on. I'm saying what's going on.
Well, there is a what's going on though.
Yeah?
Song also. I'm surprised you don't know that one because, like I was telling you earlier today, man, I can't say a word because you.
What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, I know that song.
There you go.
Let's see. Is he back? There he goes.
He's back. Let's see what happens.
Let's see. Guess who's back?
Third time's the charm.
Third time's the charm.
There it is.
Hey,
Yes.
I don't know what happened.
No idea. Well, welcome, Lance. Say your last name for us because I think I butchered it.
It is Lance Lucero.
Lucero. Yes, I knew
There
it.
it is.
See. All right, man. So welcome to Catch the Craze. Thank you for coming on. I know we were supposed to have you on last week. We moved things around. My voice is back.
Excellent.
So we're good. We're good. But for those who don't know, Lance, please introduce yourself to the audience. Who is Lance Lucero?
Lance Lucero is Warehouse 9 Productions Limited. And what we do over here is films, shot on film, filmmaking, and comic book creation. And that's what we've been focusing on the last several years, but primarily coming into our own the last few years. With Bob Non-Union Psychic, Big Book of Bob Volume 1 book, and feature films, short films, film festival circuits, hitting the market with our new awesome hardcover, real live art, like we were talking earlier, book.
Yes. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. But so, all right, so that's what you're doing right now. Tell us a little bit about Lance when you were a kid. Like, where did this creative, just genius come from? What happened? How did you get into this?
Growing up with a family full of storytellers, joke tellers, smartasses. The whole concept of being dragged to the movie theater as a kid to see everything and anything. Didn't matter what it was, from commercial to high art to foreign. That's what started to really sink into my head about what can happen visually, artistically, storytelling, taking it to the next level. And just not orating, but being able to say, what can I do artistically to entertain or capture a person's attention? Of course, it helps being the youngest in the family. You stand on the table and shout, "Look at me" all the time, to the chagrin of others. But that's pretty much how it came about. Exposure, in its limited sense. Going back way before the internet. Going back to actual movie theaters and drive-ins and art houses where any crazy uncle would just drag me and say, "We're going to go see a samurai movie." Okay, I don't know what they're saying, but this is actually really cool. Stuff like that.
Where did you grow up, Lance?
I'm in Denver, Colorado.
Oh,
Nice.
Denver. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys getting?
You're getting a lot of snow right now, huh?
Yeah.
We got about 3 inches, but it's nothing for us. The sun was still out, so that's the beauty of Colorado. It'll snow, and then the sun will come right out, and you're okay.
That's amazing. Nice. So that's cool, man, that you mentioned, having a family of like crazy uncles and wise asses. What is your background? Where are you from, Lance? What is your I guess I would say nationality, but what is your background?
My background is primarily Native American. And this is where I grew up. This is where my family's from, New Mexico, Colorado.
Right.
So this is my home. This is where I hang out. It's beautiful. It's awesome. Yeah. There's a lot going on here.
There's that you talk about storytelling, and obviously there's so rich in story. Growing up the way you grew up. I was reading just your, like, even at the beginning of your book where you break down your writing process for Bob and why you wrote it. I thought that was very interesting. Tell the audience a little bit about that, about your process and about how you created this character of Bob, the non-union psychic.
Well, it goes way back to to the movies, to filmmaking, and we're going back now 20 years. So after I finished making a feature film called Hunting for Fish, way back in the 90s, which is going to finally get a release date this year, according to my distributor. We'll see what happens. You get a little disenfranchised with the system, as we all know. The Hollywood system, the studio system, the agency system, so forth, so on. So in those days, the only way to break in was actually make your feature film, on film, of course. So that's what I did. And then the idea is now that happened without representation, being from the nowhere and a nobody. How do you break in? How do you get past the gatekeepers? How do you say, okay, look, I'm here, I can do this. How much more do I need to be juiced in the system to be recognized, as an artist, as a storyteller, as a filmmaker? So those frustrations started to bleed into Bob Holbrook, the character in Bob Non-Union Psychic. Hence the title, Non-Union. Now, that's a metaphor. It could be non-guild, it could be non-club, it could be non-anything. It's just the idea of, does a person with talent or certain expertise need to qualify to get into somewhere to make something of themselves? I don't believe so. Because, it starts in the independent level anyways. Everything starts independent before it goes commercial. Yes. That's the ground roots of it. Mm-hmm. So that's the basic concept behind the whole character of Bob. He's a small business owner. He doesn't have a bat cave. He doesn't have a fortress of solitude. He doesn't have $1 million trust fund. None of those cheats, none of those things to get your character to propel forward. It is a guy that has to live and eat and breathe by his profession, which is being a hairstylist, a job you can take anywhere. Yeah. It's about fashion. It's about helping people look good. But he also happens to be just tuned into energy a little bit better than anybody else. Paranormally, he just has the second sight. He can work with it. And of course, his lineage, a long line of families who were always influenced by, is trying to always steer him in a different direction. Like, well, maybe this will really make something of you if you get into this union and you are recognized. You get past these gatekeepers and you're established. But is it what he really wants versus having his own shop, having his independence? He's steered that way, and ultimately he is your reluctant hero. But even though he may be accepted into these realms, these guilds, these agencies, or not accepted, he still stands on his own 2 feet. He still can make art, and he can still save the world. So, it's a metaphor for what most people are trying to do right now. And, that's always trying to secure that spot in that dream studio or with that dream agent. But you know what? You can spend a lifetime doing that. I'm a perfect example of it. Mm-hmm. All these years later, Bob is a project that now spans back to 2000. That's 22 years ago. Yeah. So what started off as a screenplay and which landed on some big tables in the early 2000s, but didn't come to fruition. Once again, I'm a nobody from nowhere without representation. My project was never picked up. There was eyes on it, never got picked up. So several years passed and I decided, you know what? I can turn this into a graphic novel. So I knew a guy, and that's co-writer and editor Adam Voley, who was the comic book guy. I'm the movie guy. So I contacted him and said, "Hey man, we need to get a project going." We had written a screenplay together before, which got some attention but didn't go anywhere. And the idea was, what are we going to produce? So I pitched him the Bob script, and he said, "This would be perfect. Let's condense the entire story into a one shot, a number 0, kind of like a pre everything, and see if it hits, see what happens, see if it'll take off." And that's already like 7 years ago, and it hit pretty well. We got some awards, we got some attention, and it's like, okay, Warehouse 9 is doing its own thing. Warehouse 9 doesn't have to deal with the gatekeeper. Warehouse 9 can just keep producing. Right. So that's what we did. And it all culminated to now getting a good publisher, ASAP UK, yes. Any One World, Paul Hayden, he rocks, and getting this book to print beyond digital. So, I think we've come almost full circle with getting decades later, which people need to realize sometimes your time is your time. You can't push it. It just happens when it happens. So, we stuck with it, and here we are. That was the whole process.
That's amazing, man. There's a line in one of the your prelude where it says, "A story about what it's like to have the talent, but not the credibility or the connections to get in." And I think that also rings true to that kid who's trying to get his first job, right? Who doesn't have he's never had a job before, but he knows he can do it, but nobody will give him a chance because there aren't any jobs that he's done before. So I think, and that's what I like about the story itself, is just how it relates to not just, us, because we're in the industry, but also to like just a regular kid who's trying to get a job, or, a person who's been trying to get in for a long time into a union, like you said, workers union or whatever it is that is trying to get in. I like the fact that you made him a business owner. And I read the story about how you came up with that idea. You just tell us how you came up with making him own a barbershop. What drove that idea?
Well, it was looking at professions, because once again, I didn't want to use being a comic book guy, knowing all the tropes, knowing all the cliches on how to, propel a story forward. Kind of now, it's too common. And it's too easy for writers to take shortcuts in a story if they adopt the same cliches and tropes as what we've seen for like the last now 80, 90 years. Time for change. So I think it's more relatable if he has his own profession and his own business. I think anybody that opens up this book can relate to it because most people have a day job. And whether they like it or not, they have to deal with it to get food on the table, pay rent, take care of themselves. So I think that is something that is very relatable to anybody. And it had to be that way. I wasn't going to take any easy way outs with the character. To me, it didn't make sense, and it's not a challenge as a writer, anyways. Why do that? So I think it's funner. It's much more fun to have his own base camp, something that he built from the ground up,
Right.
and that he has to struggle to hold on to. Otherwise, to me, a character just is one dimensional. I needed more dimension to this character, and I think it helped.
He's also a psychic. Where did just that part of the whole story? How did you come up with him being a psychic?
Well, I think it's fun that when people are in tune with their environment a little bit more than the average Joe, maybe just it's more alert. Who knows? I mean, we all know, we've walked into rooms and we know who the person is that's just going to suck the energy out of the room. We know that experience just by instinct. You may not be able to explain it, articulate it, but it's there. So I wanted him to have a natural second sight. Nothing. I don't need him to be angry vigilante. I don't need him to be irradiated with superpowers. I didn't need any of that. We've seen all that. So I'm thinking, okay, if he's just naturally in tune, all he needs is someone to help him focus it so that he can actually basically cash in on it. I mean, sure, that's trite in a sense, but maybe in his mind, he also wants to help people. At the basic level. So I thought taking a naturalistic approach to it was more challenging than the usual tropes. Just trying to come up with something that allows a person to fight crime or evil. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to take it as natural as possible.
Right, and a lot of the things that I'm taking away from this is the reality based in your storytelling. But the one part that intrigues me is your drive to continue moving forward even when you're faced with adversity. So walk us through from that first moment where you're pitching your product, you're thinking you're getting somewhere, you get it, that nothing happens, there's a lag time. How do you stay motivated? What keeps you moving forward?
The process itself, there are rejections. You're always going to have it. But what I take away from the rejections is sometimes whether or not the rejector is credible enough to give me the knowledge.
Oh no! What happened?
What happened? We're just getting to the good stuff.
Damn!
What the hell? Hey.
Come back, Lance. Don't do us like that.
It's like
he's like, I'm going to tell you my secret. God.
That was weird.
That was so strange. You're like, yo, what happened? Anyway.
I don't know.
So go ahead.
Yeah. So I think it's just the idea of acquiring knowledge. Every hit isn't a knockdown. Every hit you roll with the punches. And you think, all right, so what's going to make you stronger? Like anything, you train, you hone your skills, you get better, you do the next project, you lay it on the table again. If nothing happens, you just keep going. And being compelled just to tell that story that's in my head and capture it. Doesn't matter if it's on film, doesn't matter if it's on the page. So rejection is going to be there, and even more so nowadays because the industry is saturated. Any industry is oversaturated. So you got to take your work up several notches. Independence can be bashed in 100 different ways, in a sense, being low budget, being unprofessional, but that's a stigma that I think you can push past to say, no, I can create a product that is just as well thought out, maybe even better than what the studios are doing, because they have a cookie cutter aspect that they have to deal with. They have to keep remanufacturing. They have to keep doing the same thing. Whereas we have the freedom to say, look, I'm going to take it up a little bit with my storytelling. You're not going to see the usual tropes and cliches. So I think there's the idea of also learning what's out there, looking around and blatantly saying, I don't want to do this, that, or the other. I want to do what I want to do.
So there's that part of the education that you just said, you said educating yourself and learning throughout the process from your failures. So what were some of the lessons learned that you apply today from those experiences? Going back to the feature film, so many things went right, but a massive amount of things went wrong. And it's like, okay, I'm an indie
without studio backing. This is private investor money. I got to be as precise and as focused as I possibly can be, even when bad stuff happens. So, you take a minute, you never lose your cool. What I was taught growing up, don't lose your cool, think first, then act. Never lose your cool. So to evaluate the situation and say, all right, I'm never going to go through that again. That's not happening again. Next production, no. So as I progress, it gets easier and easier, more streamlined. Communication is better. People are having a better time. It's because I think the results come from maturity and just keeping it cool and learning from those mistakes. Once again, when you're hit, you're not knocked down. You roll with the punch. You figure out, why did I get hit? You correct it. You move on.
Nice. So what can people expect from this series?
I think it's eye candy for one. I think Francisco Resendez, his art, we were happy to find him. Fantastic artist. Yeah. And relatability in the story, and maybe inspiration to step it up a notch. Don't settle for the tropes and cliches that we're dealing with today. You can strive to be DC, Marvel, Disney, but you don't have to. You just need to create something just as good, if not better.
Right. So you said you found him. How did you find your artist? What was the vetting process like?
We went through, I think it was, we went through digital webbing. We put out an ad.
Oh, wow.
We're going.
You brought it back.
We're back. You're going back.
We're going way back.
Yeah.
And we put an ad out saying, hey, this is the project. This is what we're willing to pay. It should be fun. Anybody who's interested, shoot us an email. And we were overwhelmed by the response. I mean, we were getting people, from Korea, India, Spain, Brazil, Mexico. I mean, and these artists were stepping up. I mean, the Americans just weren't stepping up. And we were looking at these other guys going, wow, this is pretty impressive. So it was a heck of a process of quite a few artists, and we narrowed it down to 3 artists, one from Brazil, one from Argentina, and one from Mexico. I mean, they were knocking it out of the ballpark. And we settled on Francisco because he got it. He just got it. His sequential art was spot on. His character designs were mind-blowing. I think he can relate to the character. And I think that's what helped. So, we said, hey, you're our guy. Let's do this 0 and let's see what happens. And originally he was an animator too. So cinematically, he got what I was saying about my approach to cinema and kind of integrating in it with this book. When I said, well, I want the colors, they need to be atmospheric. We need a contrast and saturation. I just don't want plain backgrounds or, I need to see texture, and how he layered the images, especially with Bob's psychic shield and what have you, how you can see through it. It isn't just art that's one-dimensional. So, he got it. And we said, this book, this 0's got to be, it's got to look a little, little gritty, but we decided to go with the hair of that cartoon look, for a little bit of commercial ability, because I think it also lulls people into a false sense of security when the violence happens. Because when the violence happens, it's pretty violent. And it's like, okay, I think that can shock people. And that was a gamble. We didn't know. But, between me, Adam, and Francisco, we agreed, that's the right route to go. So it was a fun process, and I'm extremely pleased by the concepts of each individual book. So you will have that indie-looking, grainy look of Bob 0. Then you get into your Rembrandt, your Renoirs, the color spectrums of book 1. And then when we get into book 2, I remember Francisco said, "Throw me a movie. What should I be watching for this?" And I was like, "Batman Returns." The Thing, 1982. This book is cold. It should be cold, and we want it to look cold. So when I throw these movies at him, he gets it and he integrates it into the art because I mean it's already there. He knows what I'm talking about. So, you know, this is probably one of those rare unions when things just click right from the get-go and you're just going, wow, every day is Christmas or your birthday when you look at new art. It's like, okay, this is awesome. You know, so he was a diamond in the rough and we found him.
The artwork is beautiful, man. It really is. It really is a beautiful looking book. Good luck with all of it, man. This looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you have a captivated audience. Give us the pitch.
Well, you know, Bob, non-union psychic. It's pretty simple. It's a renegade psychic, professional hairstylist. I mean, hey, you want to be blown away by great art, great stories. This is where you go. You know, this is the Big Book of Bob, Volume 1, and we got 3 more coming. So this will give you enough of a taste to get involved with Bob and his world. So you can go to warehouse9pro.com and get more out of the book. You can get character dossiers, you can get location descriptions, you can get artifacts descriptions. So we take it up a notch. We're creating this gigantic world for Bob, and it all starts with this book. And the biggest surprise is our spinoff, Coiffier Extraordinaire, The Legend of Legros. That's coming out. That's the new short film that's going to be the tie-in to this book. So we're in production now, post-production now. So you're going to have a live action version of Bob Non-Union Psychic. But the kicker is we're not going to give you Bob yet. We're going to give you another character. But that character is thoroughly integrated into the book.
Oh, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, Warehouse 9's rocking it.
Exciting stuff, Lance. This is amazing, bro. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm looking forward to what you guys are cooking. All of your links will be in the show notes below, so you guys can click on those things and check them out. You have tons of stuff. Where can they get the book right now, Lance? Just so if somebody wants to get their hands on that book.
You can go to warehouse9pro.com. There's a buy button everywhere, and that'll link you to ASAP Comics UK, ne1world.com. That's where you can get a Bob Non-Union Psychic, plus a lot of other really cool stuff. I mean, ASAP's really rocking it. I mean, this is a new indie publisher that's, hey, I found out about them. I believe they're doing the right thing. This is a winner. These are the people to be involved with.
Outstanding.
There you go. Thank you so much, Lance. We'd love to have you back, man. Whenever you want, we could talk some more about your process and all that other fun stuff, man.
Awesome. Yeah, just give me the word. We got films coming out. We got a book on the market. Just let me know.
You got it, buddy.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Take care, man.
All right. See ya.
Wow. Awesome stuff, man.
Yes. So that was Bob. I mean, that was Bob.
Lance Lucero.
Lucero, yes. And, yes. And if you don't know,
you are listening to Catch the Craze.
Yes. So yeah, that was a really cool episode. Again, links in the summary. Check out his website. Get your copy of the book. Check out ASAP Comics. They've been on the show before.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget, link in the summary for There's an Alien in My Toilet. His name is Duty. He's from the planet Uranus, and he's coming to Earth. Sign up now. We're trying to get 100 recruits to get on that ship with Duty before he gets to Earth's orbit, because there's a takeover coming. And don't forget The Adventures of Wonderduck. Link is also in the summary. Sign up for that, which is coming out in 2027. So
you son of a 2022. Don't believe him. It's coming out in May. Jesus Christ. Hey, listen, thank you to all 530 subscribers as of this recording. We're at 530. By the time this airs, hopefully we'll be closer to 600. So keep subscribing, please.
Yes. And with that said, I'm your host, Sam the Crazy Man Vera.
George the Juma Medina.
And we are out.
It's just easy. It does not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, it's talking about my friend Acquiesce. Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh, my God.
He described me. He said, I'm the
What? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Candy girl.